Good evening, and welcome to the Staggering Giant. If you guard your king and your sword at the door, I am the Sleeping God. Oh, there it goes again. I think I might have more than one microphone going here, which may be causing problems. I wonder why that is. Let's see if I can fix this. Please for that. How does that sound? Is that it? No, that's the same problem. I do wonder why this happens. It's a bit of an odd one. That's much better. Okay. That seems to be a pretty common one, depending on which microphone I'm starting on, but once again, welcome to the Staggering Giant. Leave your gods, your kings, and your swords at the door. I am the Sleeping God. My name is Alton, and I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about my ongoing campaign and some of the plans I have, not just for the future of that campaign, but for my gaming in general. You can see I've got some windows open on the side there. Some things are hidden away, but overall, there's the formation of a plan. I'm getting into, I showed an image last week of a concept for an underground city that I want the characters to visit, pardon me, in the not too distant future. Tea, nectar of the gods. The purpose of this city is that it is, shall we say, somebody needs to go there for a completion of their purpose. That's probably already given too much away to my players, but hey, somebody needs to go there for completion of a purpose. This is an underground city that has long been abandoned, and when the characters get there, they are going to find a few odd challenges. Some of what I'm looking at is, as you know, the campaign is based in the region around Chilak, which is a city in the southwest of the Tyr region in Athas, the Dark Sun world. Now, this campaign world is a slight variation on theme. My Chilak is going to be different from other people's, and so are the other items in locations in that area. Effectively, we're looking for the prison of the Firemaster, and I've decided that that's probably going to be in the Blue Shrine, which is a noted location on the map, but there's very little details given about it. So I've decided that the Blue Shrine is from the Blue period of the Athas world, and it was a shrine dedicated to water, or the water gods, if such things ever existed. It's changed purpose now, and it is now the prison for the Firemaster. Now we have the story of why the Firemaster was put in there, that the Firemaster was, following the slow destruction of Athas, the most powerful of the great elemental forces left, the Elemental Masters, and has been trapped in that place for we do not know how long. Thera came across the Firemaster's, one of the Firemaster's servants, which was a child called Moth, whose mother had also been a servant, and following a dream, a vision, she has decided that she will dedicate herself to freeing the Firemaster. This could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, we don't know yet. But the Firemaster is currently trapped in what we call the Blue Shrine. it's a water prison, which makes sense for a firemaster, and that's why when Thera was in her dream, that she sensed a cold on her back as she was entering the room in which the firemaster was trapped. This entire city is the old city, where the shrine currently is underground, and it has been buried over many years, and only parts of it are going to be accessible. Now, like I said, there was an image that I showed last week that displayed a part of the layout of the city, and I kind of have a good idea in my head, and I hope to start mapping over the course of this week where the city will be. The characters aren't going to get there this week. One of the main problems with Dark Sun is that the world is incredibly dangerous. Even just travelling along the sands under the sun is life-threatening, and I want that to feel right. So far the characters have been in the city, and that's not a problem that they have to deal with. But one of the concepts that was introduced in the 4th edition version of the rules, of the Athos world, was the notion of survival days. Now, survival days are enough food and water to get you through a day. A single survival day. People can trade in survival days, and there are people who would trade metal and gold for a survival day. That's how important something as simple as water becomes in a world like Athos. So, once they've travelled for a time, and there will be other encounters to be had when they do that, they'll get to the city, find much of it in disarray, and that only parts of it are accessible. One of the things that I want to introduce, even before we get into the prison itself, is I've been playing with a concept for a psychic undead. And I don't want to talk too much about it here because I don't want there to be spoilers, but we have liches, we have vampires, we have, like the vampire is an undead powered by a curse, lich is an undead powered by magic, and I wanted to introduce an undead powered purely by its own will, and that's what the psychic undead will be. Don't think it's going to be quite as powerful as a lich or a vampire, depending on when the characters get there. I mean, if there are major incidents between now and then, I'm not going to force them to go right to this temple. If there are major incidents between now and then we may have a creature that is perhaps as powerful as a lich. Maybe not. We'll see how it develops as time goes on. But that's kind of the basic outline for that city. Other locations that I'm working on are variations on locations that I've been picking up from other modules. One module that I quite enjoyed in the past was the Desert of Desolation, and I intend to take content from there and have to turn it into this campaign, included in this campaign. But overall, it's going to be just parts. I mean, the pyramid, I don't want to take it exactly as it is. That would be the pyramid from Pharaoh, I3. I don't want to take that exactly as it is and just plonk it into here. There's some of the challenges in it that I think are quite clever, and I think that they can be quite an interesting challenge even now in 5th edition. One of the advantages of the 5th edition rules overall is that it's very easy to adapt things to be challenging to 5th edition characters. This one's all about a one's death save, or a one's save, as they used to describe saving throws in the 1st and 2nd edition rules. Well, okay, that's roughly equivalent to a reflex save or a dexterity save as we've moved over time. So like I said, it's very easy to adapt some things from one edition to another. But overall, that's the plan for dealing with the Firemaster. The next thing I want to talk about is here on the screen with me. This is something I've been working on a little bit. Nothing to do with the campaign, it's another thing entirely, and it is a sacred oath that I was working on. For those of you who've been watching, over time, you will have noticed that I do a lot of homebrew. Some of it I just stick up on Twitter for people to have a small critique over. I have recently put a couple of things up on, pardon me, on DM's Guild, and while they're downloading well enough, nobody's paying for them yet. They're all pay what you want pieces. I get that, but nobody's paying for any of them yet. Sad face. But not a terribly bad deal. Not a terribly bad idea. That we put content out there for people to enjoy, and so far quite a lot of people have been enjoying the download. So I'm not complaining about that. Haven't had any reviews yet. If you're watching this and you have downloaded my Wanderers in the Dread Realms, or my my Bard, then yeah, please stick a review in there, even if you didn't like it. Tell me why. You know, these things don't get better, and I don't get any better at making them if I don't know what the issues are, if I don't know what problems people have with them. Yeah, Wanderers in the Dread Realm is now up to 44 downloads. I'm quite proud of that. That's 44 people who saw that, seen that and thought, that might be worth a look. I'm happy with this. So yeah, the Wanderers in the Dread Realms was a combination of a Cleric domain, a Shadow domain, a Sorcerer's Origin that I actually talked about on this stream, Ancestral Curse, pardon me, and a Warlock Patron, the Dreadlord. That would be a warlock that has dedicated themselves to following a creature as powerful as Stradfon Zarevich from Barovia. Hence the title, Wanderers in the Dread Realms. So if you like it, please do leave a review. If you don't like it, also leave a review. And all of this content can be updated and improved. All of this content can be added to, can be completely rewritten if need be. And if you've already downloaded it, the new files will go up there and you can download it again. So any feedback is positive feedback. There's no such thing as a bad review. Have you heard that one? Yeah, the Bardic College is a bit of a weirdo one. It's more designed for playing in a futuristic campaign or a modern campaign where magic is still a thing. It's based on the idea that the flow of information over networks gives power to a bard, and the bard can use their skill in working with this flow of information to spread inspiration, to share powers, to give bonuses to their allies. 29 downloads for that one. Still happy with that. Something to be a little bit proud of, I think. I think came out, but then I might be slightly biased. So, yeah, if you want to go over and have a look at those, run over to the DM's Guild and search for Wanderers in the Dread Realm. Good place to start. But what I'm looking at this evening is a Sacred Oath that I'm working on. Anyone remember the Dwarven Defenders? It was a prestige class in 3rd edition rules, 3x rules. The Dwarven Defender was like an immovable force that prevented forward motion, prevented attackers from getting into Dwarven lands. And that's what this is kind of a make on. The notion of this one is that you are a stalwart. You are not allowed to let anyone pass, and that you can defend a person, an area, a region. The channel divinities that come with this at their level can imbue the shield. The shield is the icon for this class. Can imbue the shield with positive energy, which allows you to add your charisma modifier to your armor class. Currently I have it at a minute, and it was actually as I was preparing tonight I thought, a minute's a very long time. Channel divinities reset on a short rest. Most parties will probably have a short rest after any kind of serious combat. So this is a feature that if you had it for a minute, you could have it for the entire major battle for a short rest, and then use it again an hour later. So that might be a bit too powerful, maybe just for the next attack, or until the end of the next round. I may chop and change that as I go. Defensive awareness allows the paladin to stand against any defenders, any attackers, even if they cannot see them, so that they cannot be have advantage used against them from those attackers. Again, I've got that one lasting a minute, but I think that's workable as a 1 minute feature. It only affects that paladin. It doesn't affect anybody else on the battlefield, and while it takes away the potential of an advantage, anybody who's trying to gain an advantage on the paladin and realise it doesn't work can just go somewhere else. They can find another target. So not worried about that one lasting for a minute. I'll have to see it in test to see how that plays out. The next one is the bracing arm. If somebody attacks you and successfully attacks you, or let me read that again. If someone is moving or provokes an attack of opportunity from you, if you succeed on your strike, they have to make a Constitution save, or they're stunned until the end or the start of your next turn. A little bit powerful, but at 7th level, I think that's a reasonable ability at 7th level, considering that monks have their key points for stunning strike. This is one, I haven't actually put a trigger on this one. This one I think wouldn't be unreasonable to be used once per short rest. It's only going to affect one target for 1 round. Still reasonable enough, but in that regard I might make it until the end of the next turn, because if it's a target that provokes an attack of opportunity just before your turn, it doesn't really affect them. So to give you some advantage, I might make that the end of a turn, but just have it once per short rest, so that it's not a throwaway ability that you're using over and over again. Shield Wall. When you put up your defensive awareness, you can use your reaction to make a robust attack against one attack that hits you per round, adding your strength and dexterity modifier to this damage. Sorry, your strength or dexterity and your charisma modifier. So basically adding your charisma modifier to damage on a riposte attack. It's like having a free opportunity attack, but I haven't used that language because then that could also trigger the bracing arm. Don't want that to be a thing. We want the bracing arm to become one of those things that just stacks up on top of a lot of other things. That's not a good idea. Insurmountable. This is the main feature. Most paladin ults, sacred ults, have what is effectively a transformative effect at 20th level. This is your heavy hitter. This is your I have become the paragon of my oath. And in this regard, you do undergo a transformation, and again it lasts for a minute. Not worried about that. 20th level powers should last for a minute. It should be powerful. But it's only once per long rest. Also okay with that. If you have multiple battles on a day and you meet the big bad guy, this is when you use this ability. You don't use it in the fight against his minions. You wait for the big bad guy. Anyone attempting to attack you must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or they are unable to approach the point, the person, or place you are defending. Like I said, this is the paragon feature of the Sacred Oath. You are a sworn defender. This is the place you are sworn to defend, and at this point you are literally blocking people from approaching. They cannot get past you. If they target you, then they cannot get past you. And this is for anyone who targets you. So this is a paladin who is tanking. They are going to be front and centre of the battlefield, shield in hand, holding back the tide. That's what they do. As long as you have at least 1 hit point, you regain 10 hit points at the start of each of your turns. This may seem like a big benefit, but it isn't really. At 20th level, I would expect most of the things that you're attacking to be able to put a pay to 10 hit points, probably about 50% of the time, on a successful attack. We're starting to get an image here of how I see this working. We'll see. As long as you're holding a shield, all attacks against you have disadvantage. Should an attacker miss you, they suffer psychic damage equal to your current armor class. You are literally hitting them back with your level of defense. You're a sworn defender. So, I quite like that notion. I haven't seen it in any of the other powers. It may be a feature that's kind of a step too far, maybe a little too on the nose for the theme of the class. I quite liked it when I thought of it, but again, I'm slightly biased in this. The image that I have for this is that if you have a broad, wide open space that needs to be defended, you're going to have a troop of sworn defenders, arm to arm, shields raised, holding back the tide. Nobody's getting past them. If an individual is there, they will be standing in the doorway. Hold the door. They will be standing in the doorway, and nobody is getting past them while they're alive. They are that one defender who is standing there. Hodor is that man. You know, Gimli and Aragorn standing on the approach to Helm's Deep. You know, they are using the restricted space to hold back the onslaught. It may not work, it may not be perfect, but that's their purpose. If you have a wall of these guys standing across the place, all at 20th level, well, likely, but you never know. Imagine all of them, nobody can attack. People have to make wisdom saves to try to attack them, and if they fail, they cannot get past that point. They can no longer approach the place or person that you're defending behind you. Quite like that idea. I may put a range on that one, that if you're more than 200 feet away from the person or place you're defending, then they can go past you. Maybe, I don't know. Think about that. Again, one of those things that I have to see in playtesting. Thematically, I like this one, I really do, and it may go up on DM's Guild at some point. At the moment, it is just on Homebrewery, but I may change that. My big feature for this week is pretty damn big. This is one that I've been working on for quite a while. One of the things that 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons had, the 2nd edition Dark Sun had, was a Templar. The Templar was a class. They were the direct servants of Sorcerer King's TM copyright was South Coast TSR. They were granted power, magical power, from their king and from their Sorcerer King. Now, obviously, I can't publish Sorcerer Kings. DM's Guild is not currently accepting content that is based around the world of Dark Sun. Sadly, I'll get there. I will get there in the end. Now, all of the artwork that I've got on this, these are just pictures that I've picked up off the internet. I don't know the copyright for them. They will not go into a final product. They will just give a thematic image on the thing. All of these will be changed, replaced. If I can get enough money together from selling other things, I may hopefully, fingers crossed, commission some artists to help me with work. I'll skip over that stuff. That's all legal that I will put in as and when required. There's a lot to get through. This is version 2, as you can see, the revised Templar. Again, all of this will come out in time. This gives you the notion, the introduction here is what the Templar is. Enforcers of law and order and a hand of the throne. That's what they are. They are the presence of the king in the kingdom. The features that come with that, and I shall skip on straight to those, include, obviously we have the slot. This is setting up your character. It's D8 for hit points. I didn't want them to be as powerful as a fighter, but for the small amount of playtesting that I did, having them at a D6 was just too weak. Sorry, I'm going to cough again, pardon me. I think my kid has brought home a cold, and I'm finally getting it. I thought I was going to avoid it, but there's no helping it. Another D8 class, and as we'll see in a moment, another charisma-based class. This Templar has influence. Influence is the source of their power, and over the course of their development, their influence is equal to their level. Some features may add a little bit to that, like a charisma modifier, but the basic influence is just your level. You use the influence to produce powers, and they are like spells, same only different, and when you invoke a power, you spend the influence to invoke it, and the effect comes to light. That's on top of all the basic class features. So, I'm going to go over those first. What we've got here is what I am aiming for is a class that's roughly equivalent to a warlock. Maybe a little bit more powerful, but I don't want it to be too powerful. So, at lower levels, I think this may be not significantly more powerful than a warlock, but it does have a bit of a punch compared to the warlock. You're a servant of an Undying Master, who's kind of like your warlock patron. The Undying is what I'm calling them here. Once DM's Guild changed to the Dark Sun content, I will be changing that back to what it should be, which is Sorcerer King. A lot of these features, while they may seem to have quite a kick, they are pretty fixed. Once you made a choice, you're stuck with it. That's your choice, and that's how you're going forwards. On top of the basic class features, which are the Tool of the Undying, the Hand of the Undying, we'll see in the powers section what that means, and Will of the Undying. These are all the basic features. You are also going to have a cast. 3 casts: Military Cast, the Shadow Cast, and the Watcher Cast. The Military Cast are in play. They bolster and berate other members of their party and their team. They are the commanders on the battlefield. They give you boosts when you need it, when it looks like you're flagging. They drive you forwards when it looks like cowardice may be about to take over. In terms of gameplay, in terms of how they would operate in the world, they are kind of on the edge of the kingdom, defending against barbarism, defending against enemies, defending the land from the outside. They represent the Undying in battle. That's who they are. They are the Undying's representative. The Shadowcast is a network of spies for the Undying. They go beyond the kingdom into the lands of the enemies, into the cities of the enemies, if they're looking into the throne of the enemies, and they feed information back to their Undying masters. And they can be assassins if the need should arise. Finally, you have the Watcher Cast. They tend to operate much closer to the throne inside the city-state, protecting the Undying directly. They are kind of like priest defenders for the Undying themselves, and their powers represent that. They lay down the law, they impose authority within the city limits. Each of the Undying has an avatar, or each of the casts, has an avatar of the Undying feature, which is a 20th level feature. I know that happens to paladins, but none of the other classes have that. With a lot of the other classes, you kind of reach your Paragon level by 14th to 17th level, and then your specialty stops meaning anything. I don't particularly like that, actually. I quite like the idea that your specialty should be how you finish. You should become a paragon of your expertise. So this is why I'm putting in the Avatar of the Undying feature here. That this is one that kicks in at 20th level. It's different for each cast, unique to the cast. And then we get to the powers. Now the layout here is a little bit broken because I'm looking at it in Firefox. For anybody who uses Homebrewery, you'll know that Firefox, it's purpose designed at the moment to only work properly in Chrome. But Chrome and OBS don't work together very well, so I'm stuck here with Firefox, so the layout may be a little awkward. I mentioned at the top there that the Hand of the Undying feature will come up in the power section, and this is it. Hand of the Undying is a collection of cantrip level powers. Some of them are literally just, this functions exactly the same as such and such cantrip. With the Hand of the Undying, you get 3 to 4 of these over the course of your career. They're simple little things. Fist of the Templar. You call out to an enemy under to halt. Bring your fist into your other palm. A loud sound rings out in an area of 120 feet. Make a ranged spell attack against one target. That should say one target. I really must get back into the manual style. Yes. On a hit, the target takes 1d6 psychic damage and its speed is reduced to 10 feet until the beginning of your next turn. Now, because you're doing that on your turn, then you are taking you are doing something that's going to last until another turn, until the next turn. I would have these powers be affected by something like a Warcaster, but we'll see about that. Anyway, so that's one example there. Then we get into the greater powers. Now, the class table, swoosh, shows how many powers that you learn at each level. Okay, 2, 3, 3, 4, up to 8 in total. That's a lot of powers, you might say, and you're absolutely right. There are a lot of them. The greater powers come in 3 levels. Okay, minor, major, and superior. A minor effect costs 1 point to cast. A major effect costs 3 points to cast, and a superior effect costs 7 points to cast. This is how you spend your influence. Those Hand of the Undying powers, they don't cost any influence to cast, they're just cantrips. So this is how you spend your influence. Obviously, before you get to 7th level, you're not going to be spending 7 influence in one go, because you won't have that much. Your power has a title, obviously, some meta information, what level is that, effect descriptions, and an effect level, the duration that it might last. Now, with some of these there's a fixed duration, just like spells. Pardon me if I turn the microphone off there. With some of these there's a fixed duration, just like a spell. But with others, you get what I call a sustain. Let's see if I can find one with a sustain on it here. Yes, sustain 1 influence per minute. That's a minor effect, so you cast 1 point of influence to get it going, and then you spend 1 influence per minute to maintain it. Okay? That's the sustain, that's your duration for it. And then you get the effect. Some of them have greater influence that you start by spending the influence. This is a major. 3 points to cast it in the first place. An additional 2 points will give you an additional feature. Target an additional creature with this one for 2 points. So in that case, 3 points targets 1 creature, 5 points targets 2, 7 points targets 3. So you can use greater influence, you can use sustain. There's a lot to be spending here in one go. But you'll notice that this is a group. Inquisitor has all of these features inside it. Iron Will has all of these features inside it. Sorry, this is being affected by the layout issues here. Knowing has all of these features inside it. Knowing is a single power. These are all the features that power gives you. Okay? At most influence you can spend at any one time is half your level. You cannot spend any more than that on a single effect. So, this one has a sustain of 1 influence per minute. Well, it's a minor, so you can spend 1 to cast it. You can proficiency in 2 skills of your choice for a minute. You can maintain those skills at 1 influence per minute. If you only have 3 influence, then you can only maintain that for 3 minutes. That might be enough to get the job done. It might be more than enough to get the job done. You might get it done multiple times. But again, there's a limit on how much you can spend in one go. So if you're only 2nd level, you can only spend 1 influence. So you can't do that sustain. That feature can only be used for 1 minute. Okay? Let's see, one with greater influence. Okay, here's another minor. Obfuscate, minor. 1 to launch. With greater influence, with each additional point of influence, you can extend the effect for an additional turn. that only lasts a turn. So effectively, once you've cast this, once it comes around to your turn again, it's done. Do you want to maintain it? Well, yes, you can, but only if you're a high enough level to spend the 2 influence to maintain it. Do we see how that works? Do we like how that works? Comments. Please feel free to throw comments in the chat. So these are how the powers are organised, these are how they work. Because there's a limited number of powers, these features in groups actually allow you to take full advantage of a power and, what's the term I'm looking for? To allow it to grow with you. So when you get to a superior within that concentration up to 1 minute, that's going to cost you 7. You have to be 14th level to cast this. Okay? Just like the spell. Blocks effects, blocks psionic effects. Used by a mystic of under 10th level. These are all grouped together. So the Shield of Will, if you pick it at 2nd level, it is going to stay with you. It's going to be with you for your career as a Templar, and it will grow with you as you need it. I don't want to have a situation where people just swap these things in and out. You know, oh, I don't like that feature, and get rid of it. I want people to understand what they're working with, what they're picking, and how they can use it. So, again, let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel that this works as a collection of powers, as a way of using magic. Now, interestingly, I actually started working on this quite a while ago, and I was surprised to see the Scion coming out with psionic powers that effectively follow this format. Damn. But, I mean, what can you do? These powers are provided by a psionic overlord, so you know, it kind of fits in with the theme of that, so I'm not too bothered by that. Influence resets on a short rest. So, you're not just going to be casting 3 or 4 powers a day, and then you're out of influence and you're done. We're not going back to a 1st edition wizard style of casting here. Your total influence resets on a short rest. Like I said, you can only spend half your level in a single go. But once you get up to higher levels and you can sustain powers for a longer time, once you get up where you can spend additional influence to have the power affect more targets, do more damage, things like that, the powers really come into their own. And I think that's where the focus of most people is going to be. As I look at a feature like Will of the Undying, these are one-shot things that you do and they're shot. You know, sequestering a creature. The Undying will determine the length of the sentence. You don't decide that for yourself, your master will. Suffer administrations, gas on someone who will suffer damage if they don't do what you need them to do. Powers getting low. You know, there's a lot of single shots here, and again with this, once you've picked your Will of the Undying feature, that's your feature. Some of them may work better with powers that you're picking for your particular class. They may work better with your cast. That's between you and the 4 walls. But each of these features is a fix. Once it's in, it's in. Friendly DMs can decide that they're going to change that. I'm not going to argue with the DM if that's what they want to do. But here's a brief overview. I hope you like that class. I hope you like the layout of it. Total work, I'm quite proud of it. I'd be very interested to know how it playtests. Like I said, this version hasn't had much playtesting. The earlier version had quite a bit. And the reason I ended up grouping the powers was because the earlier version was bitty. You know, there was too many little bits, there was too many little choices that you had to make, and that was one where you would almost have to allow people to change a power on a long rest. It was that busy, so I decided to group the things together, rewrite some of them to make them less powerful, more powerful, and put them into thematic groups. And that way, you have kind of a focused collection of things that you can do. things in a particular area. So that's the run of that one. That's me for tonight. Thank you all for coming down and watching the stream with me. I will be back. I'm crossing all my fingers. This is not my gaming week. I'll be back on Thursday with Legends of the Burnt World. That will be over on the Threadridge channel. If you don't know who Threadredders are, they are a group of gamers who are putting together content like this. Game nights, video game nights, charity events, and gonna stick that one in as well. We are currently trying to support Alex Stinkrad Streams, who is a wonderful member of the community who really deserves our support. If you can spare anything on GoFundMe, get over there and do that. Small shout out that I'm going to do right now. Gemma Hooper has been developing an RPG system, and she has released on DriveThruRPG the SRD for that RPG system, and is planning to start releasing settings based on the system. It's a new way of looking at role-playing. It's focused on skills and abilities, from what I've seen so far, from what I understand so far. Who knows? Equipment is purchased using something called boons, so we're not tracking tons of money to get things done, and it does seem like a very interesting setup. I've been reading through it over the weekend. I'm not sure I fully understand all of it. I'm not the cleverest guy in the world, I will be honest. So lots of capability checks. There's rules for passive checks, active checks, and it does seem reasonably comprehensive for, what, 60 pages of stuff? Yeah, it's quite a solid system. Sorry, 38 pages of stuff. It actually seems to be quite a solid system that fits into a scene like that. There's even advice on how to run the game using basically story first, dice versus drama. Well, you know, if the drama's working out, come on, let's just keep going with that. Focusing on character, context, the 5 C's as she calls them: it's character, context, conflict, choices, and consequences. So, you know, that's actually really good advice. Even that part at the back, on its own, will be good advice and reason enough to download this. The SRD aspect is free for anyone to download. It's called the Techlight, Techlite, the Techlight RPG system. Have a look at it. It's very good. And Typical Yarns Publications. Pretty good setup. I'm going to try and have another run through it and make sure that I'm fully understanding it, that I'm not missing out on anything obvious about it. And who knows, if I can figure something out, I might even run a little one-shot to get that going. Ladies and gents, thank you for coming down. Thank you for sharing the evening with me. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's stream, and I hope you can join me on Thursday evening, kicking off 9 PM GMT, 10 PM Central European, currently 5 PM Eastern and 2 PM Pacific. Once the European clocks switch over, that'll go back to 4 PM, 1 PM. But for the moment, it's going to be 5 PM Eastern and 2 PM Pacific. Hope you enjoyed tonight. Hope you enjoyed the game on Thursday. And good night.